Hey everybody, it is November 18th, 2007. I am Sonic Sons, and after making an exceedingly long video about some voting procedures, and then turning up the color balance just a little bit, color intensity thing, whatever, I'm now doing a video about the general public license of the GNU project thingy. Okay, this is open source, right? And, the GPL is an open source license, which tells you what you can and can't do with your open source software, right? So it's probably the best known, most popular license, but not near enough to get rid of license proliferation, which is kind of a problem we have with, basically you can come up with a license, you just write it down, just come up with any sort of text that counts as a license, so long as you own the copyright, legally speaking, to whatever it is you're applying it to. So there's like 100 different various licenses which aren't always compatible with each other, and like those voting systems I was talking about, it gets more complex than you think. Just as you think majority rules is a pretty simple idea, giving people the open source is, well, just as simple and just as complex. So, the GPL version 3 came out earlier this year, and no one seems to like it. Why is this? Well, I'm no real expert on this, but I'm kind of read up here and there, and all the people that currently use GPL version 2, generally speaking, a lot of people use version 2, basically feel that GPL v3 goes too far on copyleft. Now, copyleft is, forcing people to share the source code, basically not to keep things locked up and hidden. So the well-intentioned people at the Free Software Foundation wrote the version 3 to be even stronger copyleft than ever, which you've done in the previous version. We had the GPL 1, and V2 came around with what they call the Liberty or Death Clause, which says, if for whatever reason, legal reasons, you can't distribute the source code, then by this license, you can't distribute the program at all. Now, I should probably do a little refresher on this for people who don't quite know what I'm talking about. Open source software is software which is meant to be owned by the community, right? And the idea of this is, as far as the license goes, the license says, okay, you can download this software, you can change the software in any way you like, and that change depends on the source code. There's the software and there's the source code. Source code is basically the recipe. It's, it's the thing that you can edit, and the computer can use your edits to make a new program out of it. So you get the program, you get the source code, you change that source code, make a new program, just so long as that new program is also open source and also shared throughout the world, and you provide the source code with that, right? Alright, pretty simple stuff. So basically, every time anyone uses your thing or makes any changes to it, those changes are now also owned by the community. Right? So, GPL v2 came around and made things a little stricter, said liberty or death. If you can't, for whatever reason, distribute the source code, then you're not allowed to distribute even a program. Alright? So, prohibits people from kind of cheating, like, oh, well, I'm distributing in random country X where source code is not allowed by GPL v3 came along and I thought, okay, we'll go this even further. So, with a lot of long, complex language, they got rid of what they called TiVoization, which is a problem people have with their TiVos. TiVos is a thing that hooks up to your TV and records and, various programs and stuff. TiVo runs on a version of Linux, which is open source, by the way, for those of you who totally didn't know. Linux is supposed to be able to be changed by the community. But TiVo has built into the hardware of the machines a specific little thing so that if you load the TiVo machine with any version of Linux other than their own, if you modify things in any way, the thing shuts down, doesn't work. Well, people at the FSF, Free Software Foundation, were rather mad about this. TiVoization is out. Some people think this gets a little too restrictive. And there are various other aspects to the GPL v3 which overall just force you to absolutely make sure that this software is free and it's open and anyone can use, and you can't. And I don't know if there's statements about you can't, like, use crazy encryption or something to, like, lock it out. And people are like, well, what if I just want to encrypt my files in a totally completely ethical way and I'm not violating, and basically no one's upgrading to GPL v3. No one likes it. So let's think about what I would do with the GPL here, if I could. I think we have a few separate goals. Number one, we want to let people choose how strong of a copyleft they want to have. So we ought to have, essentially, and yeah, this might go in the area of license proliferation, we might have different types of GPL licenses. And these, you could, like, just rank it. Let's say there's a type A, type B, type C. Type A is really strong copyleft, and type B is not quite as strong. And when you license your thing, you can say, how restrictive you want to get on these things. All right, so there's one thing, is to make it so that people who want to use the GPL license can figure out how much restrictions they want to put on, right? And then express that all within our little GPL framework, rather than going into someone else's license entirely, which is substantially different, just in the way it's organized and worded, and it gets confusing.